have come under fire from the NRA as well as Republicans.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was at Fort Knox today. Annalisa Gale is here now with the Kentucky senator's reaction to today's announcement. Annalisa, what do you have to say?
Well, Rick, Vicki, Senator Mitch McConnell gave us his reaction a little more than an hour after President Barack Obama wrapped up his speech outlining his plans to reduce gun violence. McConnell's thoughts on gun control remain the same, despite the president's remarks.
Congress and the American people have made it rather clear that additional gun control legislation or executive actions are not appropriate. They're not going to pass. None of the things the president is suggesting are likely to have any impact.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell responded to President Barack Obama's emotional plea on Tuesday with plans to examine its constitutionality. He does not agree with how President Obama is going about tackling gun violence in the United States, and he does not think the president's plan will actually reduce gun violence.
If the president thought there was any legislative support for what he was doing, he'd try to get the Congress to approve it. So I don't think what he's doing is going to have any impact on the problem at all.
He believes more Americans are using their Second Amendment.
Public sentiment actually is shifting in the direction of more people being able to defend themselves.
One thing he does agree with the president on is mental health. He says the issue is a big problem in the United States that needs to be looked at closely.
With a number of these incidences that we've seen that were not terrorism related, the mental capacity of the shooter is the real issue. And I think that's something we ought to look at very, very closely to see what we could do better.
He believes President Obama should work on implementing the current laws instead of changing them.
We have gun laws already on the books that the administration is not enforcing. My suggestion to the Obama administration would be to enforce the gun laws that are on the books now.
The president said today, quote, "We can find ways to reduce gun violence consistent with the Second Amendment," indicating that he is looking for bipartisan support on the issue of gun violence. I'm Annalisa Gale, WLKY News.
Thanks, Annalisa. Now, President Obama will further make his case for the changes during a town hall meeting Thursday night. It will be shown live on CNN. The president will also highlight the topic in his final State of the Union address. That's 1 week from tonight.